Good morning, children, and welcome to all of you in online classes. Dear students, we are doing revision for academic performance evaluation. In that, dear students, we have revised chapter 1 and poem 1 and 2 in Flamingo book. And today, dear students, we will revise chapter 2 in the same book Flamingo, or the name of chapter is Lost Spring. This particular chapter, the Lost Spring, has been written by one of the renowned Indian author, or her name is Anees Jung. Anees Jung was born in 1964 at Rourkela in Odisha. This famous writer spent her childhood as well as adolescence in Hyderabad. Or she got education in Hyderabad also and in USA, United States of America. Fortunately, her both parents, father and mother, were writers. So ultimately she decided to work as a writer, or she has written many stories. This particular story, Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood, is divided in two parts. Dear students, in this lesson and in this story, the writer has tried to highlight the life of such children whose happiness has been lost, who could not enjoy their childhood, who could not get enough opportunities to get proper education, to play in their childhood and to enjoy their childhood. Through this story, as I have told you, there are two parts. So through both parts, the writer Anees Jung, narrator Anees Jung, she has tried to highlight the poor condition of such children who are forced to spend their life as a rag picker. Dear students, I want to tell you that in first part of the story, the central character is Sahib, whose full name is Sahib-e-Alam. Our narrator here tells her interaction with Sahib-e-Alam and other children who are spending their life as a rag picker. Actually, Anees Jung, the writer, first met to Sahib-e-Alam at that time when he was searching something in the heap of garbage. Mr. Sahib-e-Alam, whose family and thousands of the other rag pickers who were living at outskirts of Delhi in Simapuri, near Delhi, to thousands of the families were living in such condition or children of such poor people and such low economic standard people were forced to spend their life as a rag picker. Or one day, writer Anees Jung, narrator Anees Jung was going that side, or when she saw that a group of children, they were busy in searching something near the heap of garbage, so she was surprised to see them. Or ultimately she went near to them, or she asked what they were searching. So the leader of the boys, means Sahib-e-Alam or Sahib, he replied that he was searching some valuable items and gold coins in that heap of garbage. I want to tell you, dear students, when the writer inquired why they are not going to school, why Sahib-e-Alam and other children who were there and searching valuable items in the heap of garbage, why they were not going to school. So Sahib-e-Alam innocently replied that there was no school in that locality, in their locality. So how they will go to school and how they will study? After that, Anees Jung has given one offer to them. She wanted to know their intention, whether they are interested to study or not. So for that, one offer was given by Anees Jung to Sahib-e-Alam, or she said if she will open school one day, so they will come to attend and study in that school or not. Sahib-e-Alam accepted her offer positively, or he replied that whenever she will open the school, he will come with the other children to study in her school. But as you know, that opening school is not an easy task. It requires a lot of money. It requires many things, teachers, building, a lot of things. Understood? Or that was not easy to arrange. But after that, whenever Anees Jung was going by that side, so Sahib-e-Alam and other children, they used to ask and inquire to the Anees Jung, the narrator, the writer of the lesson, when she is going to open that school. Or Anees Jung was knowing making such promises in this world is not the new one. Every day such false promises are made, especially by the leaders of our country. She was well aware about that. She was knowing that how she is not in position to fulfill her promise. Actually she inquired about Sahib's family also, how they were living at Simapuri, outskirt of Delhi. So Sahib-e-Alam finally replied that his family and many other families, they migrated from Dhaka to Delhi. The reason was because in Dhaka, Bangladesh, where they were living earlier. Due to natural calamity, due to cyclone, due to that natural disaster, their fields and their houses swept away, demolished. So finally Sahib's and other families, Sahib's family and many other families, they were forced to leave their country, or they migrated from Dhaka to Delhi, or ultimately they came and they started living there. They started living there as a refugee, dear students, because they had no identity, they had no proper money and all other things. They were the people of other country. So that Simapuri at that time was a isolated place, deserted place, or they got chance to pitch their tent there, or they started living. So not only the family of Sahib-e-Alam, but thousands of the other families, they were living in such condition. Even the writer inquired about the children, that why they were not wearing sleepers and chappals, shoes. So different explanations were given by them. Understood? Or she found that one of the boy was wearing different quality and different color discarded shoes. Sahib-e-Alam's dream was also to become a tennis player, but ultimately he could not be. He could not become that tennis player because he has not enough money, or every day he was going to the tennis court, or outside of that boundary, from outside of the boundary he was watching the game of rich people, or when they went home, so he was requesting to the watchman and he was practicing, but due to lack of money he could not become. Dear students, or even Anis Jung remembered about the story of one of the boy who was of Udupi, given in the lesson, how he was eager to get a pair of shoes. For that, every day before going to school he was going to the temple, or he was the son of the priest of that temple, or he was praying, or ultimately he got. After 20-30 years, when again Anis Jung visited that temple, she found that the priest was new, or his son came from school, or he fortunately got new pair of shoes. He was in good condition. So after seeing the condition of Sahib-e-Alam and other children, she remembered the story of that boy who was continuously praying to God and continuously going to the temple every day before going to school, or his wish was to get only a pair of shoes. So in this way Anis Jung met Sahib-e-Alam different times on different occasions. Even she visited the locality, dear students, locality of Sahib-e-Alam, where they were living, She interacted with them. She tried to know their situation. Even she asked to the women that why they were living in such dirty dress, dirty sari. So they told their actual economical condition that they had no other saris. They are not in condition to purchase and buy the new one. Even there was no proper drainage system, there was no proper cleanliness, there was no proper supply of drinking water. The condition was very severe and miserable. Or even after living many years here in India, understood, they have not got any identity, they have not got any, they have no property, they have no land, they have no house. They were living in huts or spending their life as a rag picker. Even their children were forced to do that work, not in position to enjoy their childhood. Dear students, I want to tell you that in this way, Mr. Sahib-e-Alam spent his life, and writer Anees Jung was very much sad to see their condition. Or ultimately one day Sahib-e-Alam met the writer with one steel canister, or he was going to the milk booth for purchasing milk, or at that time he informed Anees Jung that he got job at one of the tea stall, or he was getting 800 rupees also, money also, and 2 times meals also. But the writer found the boy Sahib-e-Alam, whose name was Sahib-e-Alam, God of Universe, or this boy was unaware about the meaning of that. Name is Sahib-e-Alam, God of Universe, Lord of Universe, but forced to spend his life as a rag picker. See the irony. Or one more thing I want to tell you, that Sahib-e-Alam working at tea stall was actually not happy. This was observed by Anees Jung, because with his that bag, plastic bag, or that bag in which he was collecting the valuable items, they were lighter than that canister which was in his hand. So for Anees Jung, the particular canister was looking heavier than that bag in which he was keeping the valuable items. Anees Jung observed that Sahib-e-Alam was before master of his will. He was free to do anything, but here at tea stall, he was totally controlled by the owner of tea stall. He was not free to do the things according to his own way. So this is the observation of Anees Jung, dear students, or this is the story of first part, or second part story I will tell you in the next video. Thank you, dear student.